The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Alrighty, welcome to this episode of the Speaker Podcast. I'm your host, Ernest. EJ Christian coming to you on a sunny Thursday afternoon in South Florida. On the line in I'm assuming it's sunny in Southern California. Is it sunny out there, Ray?
It is sunny, yeah. It was raining a couple days ago, but now it's sunny, so yeah.
Anyway, Rey Moralde is back with us twice, the second time in 2020, and only a month later. Of course, editor, writer of the NoLookPass.com, also the host of the Rey-Rey Is Fundamental Podcast, which hopefully should be back soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully soon. Ray, what's going on, bud?
Nothing much. All-Star Weekend coming up. NXT Takeover coming up.
Yes.
Lots of stuff going on.
I'll be honest with you, and we're going to preview Takeover on the show today. That's one reason why we actually did this podcast in the first place. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm actually going to be watching that over the All-Star game.
I don't blame you because All-Star games are like, you know, it's an exhibition. And
right.
It hasn't been as competitive as it was like in the 90s or so.
Right.
I don't blame you.
I got to be honest with you. You and I both big NBA diehards, but I haven't really cared for the All-Star game probably about a decade. Probably.
You know, I always said I'm not going to watch it, but I always end up watching it anyway. But I think this time around, probably I won't be watching it live because, again, NXT Takeover is on, and that NXT Takeovers are always good.
Yeah, and yeah. I'm also I'm not a big fan of the whole Team LeBron, Team Giannis, Team Curry. I'm a traditionalist, man. East-West, man. East-West.
If anything, I wish you come up with more creative names than just Team LeBron and Team Giannis. I mean, come on. Like, say, you know, like, I don't know, you know how Survivor Series used to be, like, where they had, like, Roots Brood and
right.
Rowdy, something like that? I want some team names like that instead of, like, oh, I'm Team LeBron. No, Team
King's Court, Hulkamaniacs.
Yeah.
What was
something like that, dude.
What was Jake Roberts' team again in '89? It was the Vipers. The Vipers.
Yeah, the Vipers.
Yeah.
Be creative.
Right. I like that. Yeah, I miss the old WWE sometimes. I really do. Anyway, I want to start here because first off, I'm really glad I watched AEW. No, for the record, I don't watch any of these shows really, other than the pay-per-views. I watch these shows, whether it's Dynamite, Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. I always watch them either the next day or days after that. AEW I watch pretty much the very next morning when I have a chance to. But I don't normally watch it as early as I did this morning. But TNT had last night's episode available earlier than I thought. So I decided to just dive immediately because I was hearing a lot of feedback last night from friends, getting texts from friends that the show was incredible. So I was looking forward to watching it. Oh, by the way, I actually watched some of the clips on the AEW Instagram, so I was really excited to watch some of the things. And I gotta tell you, man, I'm so glad I was able to watch this whole show before I came on here. And look, all their shows for the most part have been really, really good. Last night's show, by far the best episode and most impactful one.
Yeah, we talked about this off the record, how, like, wow, this show is really incredible. The best episode of Dynamite so far because from top to bottom, every match is so important. And they advanced some angles, and they had a surprise, too, that I didn't even expect because I don't read the dirt sheets during, like, the date of the show or whatever, so I want to be surprised, like right. Everyone else, basically. So what I learned about the surprise during the show, like, whoa, really? And then they doubled down on it by having him appear at the end of the show, too. Like, whoa, I didn't know he was there.
That was
cool.
Jeff, what's his name again?
It's Jeff Cobb.
Yeah.
By the way, fellow Filipino wrestler as well. So, yeah.
No, yeah. I don't know anything about Jeff Cobb, but obviously there was a lot of excitement around the name getting signed that I saw on social media yesterday prior to the show anyway. And he made his impact felt at the end of the show. But I think one of the things I'm really intrigued about, because I remember writing a blog about this back in early in the year, like out the gate. Things that AEW needs to get fixed, and now granted they haven't done some of the things I suggested, of course. Like I think they should start. They should have a mid card belt ready to go now. I mean, you're adding to the roster, might as well get the mid card belt ready to go, and other things like that. But they've done some really good course corrections with a lot of the storylines and characters that from last year. For example, the Nightmare Collective story, which was god awful. I think you and I were off the record talk about this even in January and late December about how awful the storyline was, and they obviously got that, and they pretty much ended it. Brandi Rhodes is now no longer not even a heel anymore. She's pretty much a face now, aligned with the Elite again, and her husband Cody. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a great thing. Britt Baker, she wasn't getting any traction really as a babyface. She's first of all, Britt Baker, in my opinion, is very average in the ring anyway. So that on top of her not really being her personality as a babyface, not that intriguing. She was kind of stale, and this is also somebody that was, at least the vibe was coming into watching the show, the top woman, girl, whatever, on the entire show. Turning her into a heel, a lot more traction, a lot more interesting, of course, And then last night, and as you saw, we have a new women's champion in Nyla Rose, who beats Rio. Great match last night. By the way, now granted, Ray, the bar is set low here when I say this, but that was the best women's match ever in AEW history. Bar set low, of course. So that's a course correction on Nyla Rose here, because I thought Nyla Rose should have gotten the title first on the first show, not Rio, and had Nyla Rose be the big monster and everybody chase her, but they corrected that now. So AEW, to their credit, they're listening to people, because you have to. They're listening to fans, I'm sure, listening to other creative, and they've made some course corrections. I'm very proud of what they've done.
I like how you brought up that all of the mistakes so far of AEW have been on all the women's side. Because, seriously, they've been lacking in that direction for the women. As far as the Dynamite Collective went, they didn't even mistake. I was more positive about it than most people. It's like, I hope they get this right. But they never got it going, and, all the fans hated it, so they had to drop it. My beef with the Dynamite Collective is how they dropped it was that they did it in dark instead of Dynamite. That should have been shown on TV, where Awesome Kong, Mel and Dr. Luther turned their back on Awesome Kong on the YouTube show instead of Dynamite.
Right.
Like, why did they do it on Dynamite? So we can all see it. Britt Baker, it didn't help that she was kind of shoved down our throats. Like, oh, she's a dentist. We get it. She's a dentist, right? So that didn't help. But she feels more at home as a heel. I'm actually a little surprised for that. But then again, her boyfriend is Adam Cole, who is a fantastic heel at NXT.
I already started calling her Britt Baker. I saw on Twitter. I started calling her Britt Baker Baby. Just saying.
Yeah. And I have no problem with Rio being champion, and I have no problem with that at all. Because I think they were trying to go with different sides for champions, because Jericho's the champion on the men's side, and he's a heel, and they decided to go with a face for the women. So I had no problem with Rio being champion. With that said, it's far more believable to have Nyla Rose as the champion, because she's a big girl, and it's just more believable when you have a monster holding the title and no one can beat her. So yeah, and surprisingly, both. Okay, Nyla Rose versus Rio doesn't sound like an attractive match, but both matches have pretty much nearly stolen the show on both shows. So, credit to both of those girls.
Of course. I mean, Rio's... by the way, when I say about Nyla Rose and whatnot, it's not an insult. I love Rio. You kidding me? I was singing her praises in October. She's so adorable, this and that, and she's phenomenal in the ring, and I love her matches. But I thought for the sake of the storyline and building characters and building, getting people over, I thought Nyla Rose should have been built as a monster early on. And for the record, for her credit, Nyla Rose is really, really good in the ring. I watched her that match. I say she's amazing in the ring. And when I watched the match yesterday, it gave me some hope that the women's division is going to correct itself also too in the process, because it's been pretty bad for out the gate.
Yeah, the thing is, they have the talent and they have the depth. They have like 20 women's side or something, but they're not getting enough time. They're not getting enough storylines. And I get it, 2 hours in a show, but you also don't want to overexpose the talent. That's what Dark is for, right. And that's what their second show, which is coming up soon, is for, to expose all the other talent.
Which I heard that the second show that's going to TV might actually still be Dark. That's what I heard. I don't know why I don't know why they do that for. This is at a second show like WCW Saturday night in that kind of vein, 1 hour show, nothing over the top, just something simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, the show was great last night, And I gotta be honest with you, they've been really good in 2020. Now, granted, has there been some duds this year? Yeah, but very few. But I think the strength right now of AEW right now, since the start of the year, has been their top 3 storylines are really getting over. Like, obviously, the whole build-up with Moxley and the Inner Circle, which started really since late November, early December, which I got worried because I always assumed that Moxley and Jericho were going to meet in pay-per-view. And since we all knew that it was a seasonal pay-per-view, it wouldn't be till February, March, and they announced that it was the Revolution in late February. That okay, how do you pass 12 weeks of TV time to make this a cool rivalry before we get to the actual match? To their credit, they've done a phenomenal job building this feud between the two.
I think we're also thrown off because we're so used to WWE programming by now, where everything goes so fast. There's a review every month. In AEW, it's old school. You only have 4 pay-per-views every year, and so you build it slower, and you kind of slow down the storylines instead of like, let's have, which we'll get to later. We'll have like 10 matches for each party, and wear it out by the end of like 2-3 weeks or so. This one, they're just building it slowly. There's so many factors into this thing. Like they brought up Santana, and then they brought out Jeff Cobb now. Mm-hmm. There are always ways to prolong the storyline without having to have these two touch each other.
Right. Well, you're seeing it with the MJF Cody Rhodes situation. Literally, can't touch me until February 29th. But
yeah, exactly.
What'd you make of the segment last week, the whipping segment with Cody and MJF, the 10 lashes?
I'm amazed it worked because it's so old school, and it's like you think of 10 lashes like, man, this thing's so hokey or whatever, because it sounds such like an old school storyline. But man, they milked the hell out of it. It worked. It got the people going, got people emotional. Mm-hmm. They did a really good job of getting people wrapped up in that lash. I mean, dude, just hearing it hurts, man. I think it's one thing to like hear about the proposed storyline. It's another to see it out in front of your TV. It's like, oh man, that really hurts. Especially the one that Wardlow gave Cody. Oh my god.
Oh my god, yes. and I thought the psychology too. In between the lashes. Yeah. I mean, it's very real. It's very real. I have to admit, when I first watched it, I was very uncomfortable, but I couldn't look away. I just could not look away, and I went from like being uncomfortable to like, yeah, this is really good. This is excellent storytelling, and this is how you do it. This is how, and I'm getting back used to taking your time, building stories, building feuds in the way you and I were raised back in the 80s and even 90s. World Wrestling, WWF, WCW, maybe. This is the way you really could do it. And look, I get the business has changed now. Everything's fast, but I'm really enjoying these builds. I mean, if anything, this might be the best build of the company right now is the MJF Cody feud. Yeah,
exactly. Cody's really good at storytelling. Like he did a really good build with Jericho up to Full Gear last fall, and now he's doing it with MJF. Cody was raised. I mean, come on, he's a son of Dusty Rhodes, so he knows about storytelling, and he was also raised in the WWE system. So he knows about storytelling, where the rest of the indie guys obviously are all about the wrestling and the spot fest and whatnot. Cody's about storytelling.
Yeah, the other storyline really is really solid. The third top one of the company is the obviously the Elite, and specifically Hangman Page and Kenny Omega and what they're doing, whatnot. And of course that the build between the Elite and Hangman Page kind of sort of, you think he's with the team and you think he's not with the team, and the alcohol situation is that the reason why he's acting weird. I wasn't a big fan of the alcohol stuff initially. I'm kind of sort of starting to build, grow into it now, because it's a reality. It's a reality. It's actually a real, not want to say real, not real in terms of that, but more so of life. Probably like the Attitude Era because it reflects on life in general. It's kind of sort of, a bit of reality. And I'll be honest with you, like Kenny Omega, like it took a while for me to get used to him because I've heard the name for years, especially before I started watching again for 17 years last summer. Hearing he's the most talented guy in pro wrestling, not in the WWE, and certainly he is that. I'm still getting used to the character because he's a little nerdy for my taste. But I'm getting used to it though. It's almost endearing now in a sense, and I think part of the reason why it's endearing to me now, I think because I listen to Jim Cornette's podcast now every week, and Jim Cornette just rails on Omega all the time. So I think I start feeling sorry for Omega now. And, he calls on Kenny Olivier. Like, come on, stop. I mean, I like Cornette. He's authentic and loud and honest, but sometimes he can get over the top.
Right. This Hangman storyline reminds me of like one of those teen soap operas where it's like, I feel like it's going to end where it's like, come on, man, alcohol's a problem. This is a problem with you. And it ends up with like Hangman crying at the end or something like that. Which I know is over the top, but that's what I feel like is going to happen. I mean, because we're so used to like traditional, one turns his back on the other because it's wrestling. You always turn on each other, right? But maybe they're going to go with a little, this is the problem storyline or whatever. Also, we can't forget the Dark Order storyline, which
I'm still meh. I'm still meh right now. And look, I may change my mind once they reveal who the leader is. It's moving, which is great. It's moving, which is great news.
So I guess you're basically depending on who's going to be the leader on that, right? Because obviously the rumors right now is that if Matt Hardy's contract ends in WWE, he could be the prime lead.
I've heard Hardy.
Leader, right?
I've heard Christopher Daniels. I've heard at one point Maurice Scroll was a name being thrown around before he resigned Ring of Honor 3 weeks ago. So I've heard everything. But the only thing I will say about the Dark Order, and by the way, Cornette calls it the Dork Order, but whatever, is that I'm not a big fan of Dark Order necessarily, but I'm happy that it's moving. The storyline's finally moving where it needs to go, and again, that's a credit to the AEW starting to move storylines week to week. We're going to get a reveal at some point down the road. In the next couple weeks, hopefully. Maybe a Revolution. Who knows? I'm just glad it's moving more than anything else.
This is way better than where they were when they first appeared, because when they appeared on Double or Nothing, not everyone knew who they were. So they were chanting, "Who are you?" or whatever, the Dark Order. And you had no luxury of TV the next week, so they didn't know who they were the next week.
Right.
They had to wait a few months before we knew who Dark Order was. So this is much better than where it was. But also, with Marty Scurll, he does have the ability to work on AEW if he wants to. It just depends on how his contract is with ROH. And who was the other one you said? Christopher Daniels?
Yeah.
Christopher Daniels did not return in that melee.
Right.
If you saw that.
I saw that, yes.
They're also throwing the season. They're like, maybe it is Christopher Daniels.
Well, the thing is, maybe it's not now because the Excalibur and I think Jim Ross kind of sort of like leaked out like the whole like, well, he hasn't been on the same page lately. He's been around. I'm like, and if it's Daniels, then why would you like give us too much information like that? This for storyline purposes anyway. Give away the story.
But at least they're throwing season. Like maybe it's him, maybe it's not. Who knows?
It's not right. So maybe it's not. We'll see. Maybe that just throw us off. I guess to some degree. Do you agree that AEW has the best tag team situation going in pro wrestling? I would say they do, and it's not even close right now.
Yeah, it's not close because WWE doesn't really care about their tag teams. NXT has been a little bit dry on theirs, although usually they're pretty good at it. But as of late, they've been pretty dry on it. They did have a Dusty Tag Classic, but they're mostly there's some makeshift teams in there, and they come by NXT UK with it.
Right.
But AEW, they have a 10-team tag team battle royal coming up next week.
That's correct.
So yeah, I'd say AEW has the edge.
I mean, and I look at the tag teams, and I'll give Young Bucks credit to some degree here. They could put themselves over being at the bookers, but they haven't done that. Mm-hmm. They haven't done the WCW thing. We'll take care of me take care of me first. They're actually getting guys over. I mean, look, the fact that he lost a private party in the first tournament back in October should tell you that. I do like to see Young Bucks get back to the top of the heap a little bit. But I tell you what, though, I look at all these tag teams. I look at obviously even Best Friends is pretty entertaining to watch, and SCU is really good, and obviously Hangman Page and Omega, which really honestly you don't really need them to be a tag team because the division's solid without them being there. Whatever. I think upside-wise, Santana Ortiz have the most upside of any of these teams.
They're so good. Like,
yes.
Their promos are really good. I'm finally glad they're getting to get promo time on TV, because on Twitter, like I see the promos on Twitter. It's like, man, they're so intense and they're so funny too. Underratedly, I think they were WWE to be clowns, honestly, because I heard in the Jericho interview with John Moxley, where if you show a little bit of humor, they could make you a comedy character easily. So, but yeah, they definitely have the most upside, which is why Jericho picked them to be their bruisers, basically. But yeah, hopefully they get a run of the tag team titles soon. But for now, it's the Hangman Omega storyline.
Yeah. I think once they get past Revolution, I think they'll, because I think the Hangman Omega thing, they're gonna split at some point. It's bound to happen. How they do it, who turns heel, that's another question. And I think Omega needs to get these. I think Omega is ready to get into the top picture now. After Moxley gets the title, I mean, I don't see any scenario Moxley does not win a title at Revolution. I mean, it's set for him at this point. I mean, do you see a scenario where Jericho retains it?
I don't know. I mean, Moxley is seems like a top guy right now, the way they're building it. Like, he's practically in every main event segment. I mean, when you think about it.
Dude, he's Stone Cold John Moxley right now.
He's so over. Like, I was talking about this with a friend last night, where Dean Ambrose is presented as Goofy. If you watch WWE in the past couple of years or so. Yeah. He's presented as Goofy. John Moxley is presented as the badass in AEW, and he just doesn't care. He gives no F's, basically. That's the guy that we wanted to see in WWE. We never saw him.
It's very Stone Coldish. It's very Stone Coldish in his build. I mean, all this happened to him, with the poke in the eye, and he having to go through all the entire inner circle to get to this point. Mm-hmm. For him not to get the title, I mean, it sounds weird. It sounds weird him not to win the title, but he's got to win the title in Revolution. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't give it to him at this point.
Yeah, I think for business purposes, they probably should, because at this point, Jericho's had the title for 6 months now, I think?
Longer than that. Since May.
Yeah, 6 months, yeah.
No, longer than that. Like 9-10 months now. By the time 10 months. Almost 10 months.
Yeah, Moxley's white hot, so why not give it to him?
Yeah, he's white hot. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the conversation we had on text last week. Because I've been saying look, I've been critical to WWE's stuff when I need to, but when they get it right, they get it right. I acknowledge it. I've enjoyed Raw pretty much the last month at least, leading up to Royal Rumble, and now certainly every Raw since then has been relatively above average for the most part. I mean, at least in comparison to last year. SmackDown, hit or miss, but there's a lot more people to please on the SmackDown side because of Fox and all that. What is your issue? Because you've been pretty vocal with me about how you just really don't enjoy the programming outside NXT. Of course, you love NXT. You don't enjoy WWE's weekly programming, Raw and SmackDown. What's your issue with them?
There's a lot continuity issues. For one thing, like some of the stuff doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. They have so many rematches, and they don't. It's like, I remember one time where they had Chad Gable and Bobby Roode as a tag team, right? This is like a couple years ago. They went against the Ascension in one form or another like 6 weeks in a row. Like, why? Right? And we have, another Baron Corbin Roman Reigns match coming up on Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
That's like their 4th, 5th match in I don't know how long, but that's a lot of matches.
But in a steel cage, though.
Oh, well, boy. I mean, you get tired of that. They don't really build, I know Vince McMahon's notorious for, changing the scripts in the shows in the last minute, and it really, really killed the show. They don't build anymore, and it feels like nothing matters. Vince very protects his people anymore. The only protected ones right now, I feel, are Bray Wyatt, Brock Lesnar, Becky Lynch. That's it. Everyone else got 50-50 booking. Even Roman, yes, who has the perception of, being pushed, but he's lost so many times too. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he lost to Corbin one time too, also, yeah.
Yeah, so by the time you get to the end of the storyline, it's like, who has credibility anymore? Because they keep losing. I go back to Samoa Joe, who used to have credibility, but now he lost too. So did Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. They're having this Messiah storyline with Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, or just Murphy, or whatever.
That's another thing. The Murphy thing, like, that annoyed me.
And Authors of Pain versus whatever team of Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, and whatever team they, Viking Raiders usually. Mm-hmm. They've had match after match like every week, and it's like I'm tired of it already.
I mean, they tweaked the dynamics to some degree. Like last week it was a 6-man tag. This week was an 8-man tag. But yes, you're correct. And 2 weeks ago was a tag team matchup. I'm with you, man. I am. You know, that's one of my issues with WWE is the repeating of the matches. Like, look, granted, we give an example of AEW. Yes, when Dustin Rhodes fought Sammy Guevara last night. Okay, we saw that match actually on Dynamite a month ago. But at least there's 4 weeks in between that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not the week after.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on that one. The repeating of the matches, it gets annoying.
Did you like the Lana Rusev Bobby Lashley storyline?
Okay, so I'm not. I didn't hate it, because I don't mind storylines being pushed. I don't mind stuff out the ring, trying things. Did it get ridiculous though? Yes. So initially I didn't hate it, and then it got worse. It got worse and worse. It was too long. That's the problem. It got too long.
Listen to this. Oh, Rusev must have sex all the time, or whatever. So she asked him to Bobby Lashley all the time then. Like, what the hell? Like, didn't you get away from Rusev because he wanted sex, but yet you want to have sex with Lashley all the time? Like, come on.
Now, bear in mind, too, Ray, real quick, with that, I knew who she was, but when Lana came back in October, you know, to reveal that she was with Lashley, that was my first time seeing her on TV ever. So it was fresh to me more than else. It's
just like the continuity sucks. It doesn't make sense.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and again, like, the credibility is shot by a lot of people. You know what I mean? At least NXT has tiers. You know who the best guys are. You know what I mean? You know who the mid-card guys are. In WWE, it's just that they're telling you who they are, but you can't really believe it because they either keep losing, or they are stupid, or the heels are like they're all stupid. I don't get, like, they gotta fix that. And obviously we've heard the criticism of, like, they're all super scripted, which is true to an extent. I'll go ahead and disclose this conversation I had with TJP, who worked for WWE for a little bit. Mm-hmm. You get some leeway, but it's obvious who gets leeway and who gets not. Like, I think you could tell which is scripted by Vince McMahon.
Yeah, it's
you
true.
know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I'll give credit to this, though. The show's improved because of Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman now has his hands all over the product now. So at least you can at least see, like, for example, were you okay with the Becky Lynch Oscar rematch, and then it ended up with Shayna Baszler attacking Becky Lynch? I love that. I thought that was cool.
Again, Becky's protected by Vince. So I
agree, but I like the angle with Shayna coming in there and biting her in the neck and making her bleed.
Yeah, she's a vampire, but
yeah.
But again, like, they gotta do better on protecting everyone and making everybody look good, even in losing. You know what I mean? Like, this is why AEW does records, because they want to make sure that wins and losses do matter. And unfortunately, WWE, they don't at this point. I don't think they've really mattered in, like, the last decade or so.
You see, I'm torn on that, though. You probably like the wins and loss records. I hate it. I just don't like it. It's a waste of time.
I like it because, like, again, it shows credibility to all the people. You know who's doing well. You know who's not doing well. So I applaud that. And they're doing it in a way where it's like college football, like Cody Rhodes said, where it matters if you go against ranked wrestlers. So I like that much better than what WWE is doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I see a point definitely there. Like Raw, I will say this much between the two shows: Raw is by far the more interesting show of the two, And I think because they got more leeway, because granted it's 3 hours. And by the way, I don't watch 3 hour show. I watch the hour and a half Hulu version because I can't. There's too much wrestling to watch a week. With my life, this podcast, my wife, my kids. It's too much to balance. So anyway, if I'm giving a show more than an hour or so, I'm giving it to NXT and AEW. I'm not giving it to anybody else. But I will say this: Raw has been much better in the last few months. SmackDown is the fresh show, heavily watered down. Like, you'll get a good show here and there on SmackDown. The only great thing about SmackDown really is the fact that Corey Graves. I love Corey Graves. It's that he's there. But I find that, like, for example, I feel like Raw is ready in WrestleMania mode. SmackDown, not so much. They're still kind of like this. I don't know. SmackDown, it feels watered down. Like it's like a weekly show that this is there. And because Fox now has their hands over it now too, you got to please their executives and whatnot. The wrestling fan, quote unquote, is actually like number 12 in the line of priority of things to impress.
I don't know. I just think they got to tighten up storylines. They just got to make their characters more credible, and they just got to stop with the rematches. Because, like, if I see like, oh, it's Lana versus Liv Morgan for like the third time, it's like, right. Dude, come on.
Yeah.
Like, what am I like? It's like Groundhog Day all over again or whatever. It's.
Yeah, and they're doing the same thing.
Something fresh.
Right, they're doing the same thing also on the SmackDown side with Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin, and all they've done is spiced up with the Usos coming in there now, but we haven't had anything. We've heard nothing. Well, obviously the Super Showdown's coming up. I think it's next week or the week after. This week after, right?
A couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, obviously the Goldberg. How do you feel about that one? The Goldberg match, Goldberg and the Fiend. That's Super Showdown.
Oh, my God. I don't know what they're doing here. Like, I have a theory here where maybe they want to get the belt off Bray Wyatt and have Goldberg and Roman Reigns for the title in WrestleMania.
That's even worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they're the bigger names. You know what I mean? Bray Wyatt's not a big enough name.
Well, I'll say this much. Bray Wyatt, the Fiend has a shelf life. When it ends is the question. It's definitely lost some steam in recent weeks. I will say that. Like, it was at its peak in October, November when Seth Rollins was still turning into the a heel. He wasn't a heel yet, but he was starting to make that turn because people started booing him as a babyface. But I feel like the Fiend has lost some steam since the Daniel Bryan rematch at Rumble. So
it's kind of done what they do with the Fiend in matches because when you're against Seth Rollins and Hell in a Cell, he took 12 finishers?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Now it's going to look ridiculous if Goldberg beats him in one spear and jackhammer.
That's stupid.
It's going to look stupid,
so
right?
No matter
how you look at it.
The only way you can get away with that really is him fighting Bray Wyatt and the Fiend, but it's marketed as the Fiend, so whatever. But yeah, I'm not look. Look, I appreciate Goldberg for who he was and whatnot, but we learned a lesson last year. Okay, we learned a lesson last year.
I could totally see this happening now, where it's Goldberg and Roman for the title at WrestleMania, just because they're names.
Goldberg hasn't wrestled since SummerSlam, and 5 months later, he's now number one contender for the title. It makes no fucking sense.
I told you, man, credibility. This is why we have lost records for AEW.
Yeah, I would lose my shit. Okay, let's get to something actually is really cool. The NXT Takeover coming up in Portland this Sunday. I am so excited on top of the show. I'm so looking forward to this pay per view. Obviously, same night as All-Star Game, NBA All-Star Game, but I'll be watching Takeover first because Takeover is the shit. So am I to assume there really are only 5 matches? Have they added more? Now, full disclosure, and I think you're on the same page too with me. No, I don't think either of us have watched NXT from last night yet.
No.
So
no,
unless they added a match late last night, so far there are 5 matches that are confirmed for Takeover on Sunday. First one here, Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox, finally the rematch, the street fight. Of course, remember Dakota Kai, obviously betraying Tegan Nox at the the last Takeover at Survivor Series in Chicago. I'm actually looking forward to this matchup, to be honest with you. I mean, it's funny that they haven't really done much with this feud since Survivor Series. There's maybe one or two little things that happened, but nothing really over the top with this feud. And I thought they would do more with it between now and this takeover. But what?
I'm disappointed with this feud. They could have done so much more because it seemed like a blood feud to me.
Yeah.
And they did the main roster trope where they had a match and then the guys didn't matter. Now they're having a street fight on the takeover. That actually disappoints me. But at least give Dakota something here, because we already know Tegan Nox is a great wrestler, and they've shown Dakota Kai to be somewhat of like I don't want to say loser, but she's always been on the short end, even as a heel. Like, everyone seems to outfox her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would like her to get the win here, and maybe have a rubber match at the next takeover or something like that.
Right. No, I'm with you, and I think she will win. And I think, and this is why I shared this point too. It's not like the women's division is necessarily overcrowded, because around this time when this feud started, Shayna Baszler hasn't been on TV much on NXT since losing the title to Rhea Ripley in December. So it's the only other woman that's really got made a lot of noise is Bianca Belair. So there's still space for Dakota Kai to make some noise with this feud, and just haven't done it.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw how deep the division is. We saw that at War Games, right? So, and NXT has by far the best women's division. I think it's been for years now. Even we don't talk about it.
Yeah. I would say that obviously Raw and SmackDown have the names, but in terms of who was the more intriguing roster, it's not even close to NXT. Not even close. I like Dakota Kai in this match too. I think Dakota Kai is the most upside going forward and can make some noise, maybe in the division in the months to come. Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, the NXT tag titles, the Broserweights. I love these guys, dude. I love the Pete Dunne Matt Riddle combo against the Undisputed Era UE. I think we're gonna see some changes really in weeks to come with the Undisputed Era. We already saw Roderick Strong lose his North American title to Keith Lee, and I'll be honest with you, like, obviously they fell into this whole thing with the Dusty Rhodes Classic and whatnot, and them tagging together, but they're over right now. I mean, Matt Riddle went from being somewhere lost in the shuffle in the roster in the fall to now at least, in a chance to win a tag title and win a more over, I won't say factions, but tag teams, people in the company again. And I'll be honest with you, I can see the Broserweights win this match.
Me too, because what we're seeing right now is like we're seeing the dismantling of the prophecy, right? Yes. Where they said they'll win all the belts, and now they already lost the North American title. The tag team titles are next to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see the Broserweights winning, and at least now Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle have something going on.
Right.
Because like you said, they were lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, because to build a Keith Lee, to build a Ciampa's back, Gargano's back, Finn Balor's in the company now. So Riddle got lost in the shuffle, Dunne got lost in the shuffle, so at least it keeps them interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll hold up to the tag team titles until they're ready to go on singles again.
Yeah, and this will be a little rivalry for next months to come. They win the title say they win the title this Sunday. You see these two teams fighting again every couple of weeks on the weekly show. So hey, works out great.
Yeah.
So, all right, this one I'm looking forward to watching. Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano, he's back. I've never seen Gargano again. Late bloomer. Started watching NXT regularly, pretty much in October, November, but I'm obsessed now. Gargano was out. I saw when Balor injured Gargano. I saw that, obviously, but I didn't see Gargano actually wrestle any main matches. This is a tough one, to be honest with you, because Finn Balor is, you would think that him come back, he's just in line to get get a title shot again at some point. But Gargano is probably, I would say, if not the top guy, at least the second or third right now in the company, even being gone a couple months.
Yeah. So you didn't watch Gargano wrestle. He had some bangers the last 2 years.
I've heard.
Yeah. You would think that if it wasn't for injury, you would think Gargano and Ciampa could be like a top 3 feud of all time anywhere, honestly. Because that lasted for a couple of years, basically, their saga. So I recommend you watch that saga go from their tag team title conquest to their feud and their couldn't blow off, but again, Ciampa got hurt.
Right.
Yeah, Gargano could afford a loss here because again, like he's had the title before, and the thing is, it's like he's built on being an underdog. Finn Balor at this point is not, and I think you're right. He's in line for another title shot.
So Finn Balor wins his match, you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I've agreed with you in everything here so far. So.
Although I could see some Gaga here. I could see maybe Finn win by DQ, Gargano by DQ. Like, the important thing is not to bury these guys. You don't want to bury Balor either. So you want to keep him strong. So I could see some Gaga here.
I don't think it's burying at all. And when was the last time we saw a DQ in a takeover?
Well, I mean, you're got to answer. I want to see one takeover really in my life, and that was the last one. So I mean, you didn't want to answer.
Yeah, that never really happens, man. I don't think it's a burial by any means if either one loses.
Right. You know what match I've got to add to my list actually here that was confirmed last week. Dominic Dijakovic against Keith Lee.
Which one? Oh yeah. Okay.
That was not on the list of the what I pulled up on the on CBS.com, but that's another match.
That's right. That's right. We've seen this match before
many times,
but I think now, because I've always said this needs to be on a takeover. Give them like 25 minutes and just tear the house down. They probably had too many matches to my liking, but at least now they're getting a spotlight. So, let them have it for 25 minutes.
So Keith Lee.
He has so much momentum right now.
He just got the belt. There's no way in hell you can off him now. I think the priority here is to keep Dijakovic strong. Still,
he is
as a mid-carder.
Yeah, you mentioned how Matt Riddle was lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Keith Lee was lost in the shuffle before he went on TV. Honestly, like they didn't know what to do with Keith Lee, and then suddenly he gets on TV and he's super over. So, he's gonna get the title here.
All it takes really is awesome theme music and catchphrases. Keith Lee, ooh, Keith. I mean, it's catchy.
But it's kind of had that though. I don't know what really changed other than like put him in the spotlight more.
Yeah, he's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay, the NXT Women's title on the line. Rhea Ripley against Bianca Belair, the star of Royal Rumble. She didn't win it, but damn, she was awesome.
I've come on a little bit on Belair because her character is still confusing.
Her what
honestly.
Now?
Like, her character was a little bit confusing to start with because, okay, so I don't even know if she's a heel right now, right? I guess she's playing a heel here.
She's a heel,
but I remember but they were presenting her as like a hard-working babyface, and then in the same vignette, she's like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm naturally good," or whatever. I'm like, okay, and then they would present her as a face at times, and then they would present her as a heel. So I'm like, I'm so confused with her character, and her terrible catchphrase, like undefeated, like she would say undefeated, and she kept saying it even after she lost. So I'm like, oh, this character's so confusing. But this year, she's presented much better, and the way she dominated the Royal Rumble was part of that too.
Right.
So, and she was good at War Games too, honestly. Like she did a 450 splash. So she's been better the last few months, but I don't see her winning a championship.
No, just like Keith Lee, Rhea just got the title a month ago. Okay, 2 months ago rather. Number one. So she ain't losing the title. Okay, and especially if this whole Charlotte Flair thing with her at WrestleMania is going to happen, it won't happen without her having a title in her hand. Okay, let's go there. Again, the priority here is make sure Bianca Belair still stays strong at the end of this match. I don't know if Baszler is officially called up yet. I mean, obviously she was on Raw last week, but is that an official call up? But you need another a heel in the meantime to counter Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair right now is the next one in line. So you want to set her up. Obviously Rhea wins this match, but I think this will be a good match. I think both look good in this match, and I think Rhea Ripley will go ahead and move forward and face Charlotte for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I will never take it away from Bianca's in-ring work, though. She's always been good in the ring.
Oh, she's phenomenal.
So she has that going.
And she's adorable. She's adorable, too. I like her. She's really growing on me. All right. And finally, the main event. Well, I guess we'd call that Adam Cole, baby, and Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT title. Goldie. Will Goldie return to Daddy? I say no, because I don't think you have the entire UE faction losing all their titles in the same month. I don't see it happening. I think Adam Cole holds it for at least another rotation for the next takeover, at least. But I don't think he'll win clean here. I think there'll be some gaga in this one.
Toughest call, honestly. This is the toughest call because it's been built around Ciampa's quest to win the title back. He never lost it. Again, this is I told you about the Gargano Ciampa storyline. It was supposed to be Gargano Ciampa at last year's WrestleMania Takeover, and I think Gargano was finally going to win the big one there. Oh, he didn't win it, but he won against Adam Cole,
right?
Who replaced Ciampa. Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm probably have to agree with you that we'll probably go one more takeover and Cole loses it at the WrestleMania Takeover.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with Adam Cole. There's probably gonna be shenanigans. They're gonna do Yui's probably gonna interfere, and it's gonna be like a big brouhaha at the end of the takeover where I don't know, Gargano gets involved, Finn Balor gets involved, all those. So it's gonna be a big brawl at the end, I think.
Yeah. I think Adam Cole is still the number one guy in the company. He's dude. I am a big fan of Adam Cole. I mean, I know
he's great.
Dude. How he delivers his vignettes, the way he talks, he's very direct. Like he's a more clean cut Shawn Michaels in a way. I don't say clean cut. I don't know how I put it. Like. I guess clean cut's a word to use because Shawn Michaels was a little bit of a mess back then too, personally.
Right.
Adam Cole is a little more laid back off screen, but just the way he's so small, but yet the guy's fearless. Even for a heel, he's fearless.
Yeah, there's just something. Yeah, again, it's delivery. It's just the way he carries himself. Which is so good about him, and he's just made to be a leader of a faction. Also kind of cowardly too and egotistical. But when he talks about himself with the Undisputed Era, so yeah, perfect leader for that faction.
He does the little things right. As a wrestling fan for 30 plus years, that's what I look at, the little things. Randy Savage was great at that, especially. Shawn Michaels were good little things. Adam Cole, great little things. Even the little him, the way he puts himself at the ring. Introductions. The boom, the Adam Cole, baby, and just the kind of the swag. It doesn't matter who he's facing. He sells himself so well that you believe he's a champion. You believe he's the top guy in the company. Yeah. And I think he has about at least another rotation until at least the next takeover. So Cole wins his game, wins his match. Gaga, I think, will be around this thing though. But
man, we agree on every match.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Although, again, I'm a little iffy on the Cole Ciampa one. Though I'll say I'm a little iffy on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't think they're ready to take the ball Cole this early. I think Cole's got he won it in June, right?
Yeah, that's a long time already. Honestly, that's a long time.
It is. No, it really is. But okay, if UE wins the title, keeps the titles against the Broserweights, then maybe I see Cole losing it. But I can't see the entire faction losing all the titles in one fell swoop. I just can't see both losing it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, I'm looking it up right now. So if Adam Cole keeps it until WrestleMania, he will beat Finn Balor's all-time record of longest reign. If he keeps it to WrestleMania, so maybe they're going for that too.
That too. Yeah. So you can add that narrative and storyline into the Mania thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because WWE do what they want. So, okay.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, one last thing before I let you go. I got about a couple minutes. NBA All-Star weekends here. Well, we got a couple games tonight, but other than that, weekends here. Chicago, of course. What are you most looking forward to this weekend?
The dunk contest. See, the thing is, it's we always look forward to the dunk contest, but it becomes a hit or miss afterwards. But I mean, Aaron Gordon's in it. I'm looking forward to what Brett Howard can do even at his advanced, quote unquote, advanced NBA age at 34. Looking forward to that. Derek Dillinger should be better this year than he was a couple of years ago as well. So I'm looking forward to the dunk contest, really.
Okay. Yeah. For me, it's the Kobe tributes more than anything else.
I've seen those. I see them every day practically.
Well, you're in LA, that's why. You're right. Right.
So
like,
I mean,
ground zero.
I'm not saying I'm not looking forward to them, but like it's just always such a sad episode all around, basically, and it sucks. It sucks
right.
that.
Like you think for me I'll be like, okay, enough of the tributes already. No, I'm not over it. I'm still I'm okay with more tributes coming in. I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
Yeah. We lost Kobe's a god here.
I know. I know.
Yeah, like they practically worship him here, And I've said many times on my platforms, on my blog, like in a way I gauge myself on how Kobe's doing because we're the same age.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to anybody else, but it does to me.
It's funny. You're 41 years old. You look like fucking 22. How's that work?
Yeah.
It's the Filipino blood.
Right. But yeah, it just sucks, and it's gonna take a while. I mean, we'll always carry it with us.
Yeah.
But it's just so hard to move on from this.
Yeah. And again, not to go back and elaborate more on this, because it's just that it's the layers. It's not just the fact he died; it's him and his daughter, the way he died, and just the shock value, and then everything else around it. It's a lot to process.
It is. Yeah.
So yeah. Other than that,
I'm sure they'll do him right. The
of course.
NBA is always in a great
job
right with their tributes.
Absolutely. Oh, and then of course my Miami Heat in representation. They're gonna have Bam and Jimmy the All-Star game. We're gonna have Duncan Robinson 3-point contest. Unfortunately, Tyler Hero is still hurt, so he can't participate in the Rising Stars situation. But yeah, Derrick Jones Jr. in the dunk contest also too. So
yeah,
my Miami Heat hopefully represents this weekend and the All-Star weekend. So
all around the place, yeah.
Rey Moralde, hopefully your podcast comes back soon. Look, I miss it. I know I keep saying every time I'm on the show, but just a reminder. Oh, by the way, I know if you saw me last Thursday, at the same time, one week ago, I had both GW Gross, G Stelio, and Ray Ross on the show, and we'll talk about you for a little bit. Actually, I don't know if you heard that podcast, but we were talking about you for a couple minutes on the show. Yeah, because I had told, because you and Ross met for the first time a couple weeks ago, so
we did.
I made a comment about that. So.
Yeah, that was trippy because it's like I just saw her Instagram. I was like, oh, she's in LA. I should meet up with her.
Yeah.
And it just happened. Like, yeah, she's really awesome.
Yeah, she's wonderful. I love her to death. She's really a good person too. So. Yeah. Anyway, the Nola Pass on Twitter, NolaPass.com for all the basketball, NBA insight, Stu Pound rankings, they may be, and hopefully the podcast, Rey-Rey Is Fundamental Podcast, will be back soon. Ray, thanks for doing this, man. Appreciate it, man. Talking wrestling, I love it, man. I'm so glad watching wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm so glad at 40 years old watching wrestling. It's great.
Yeah, I know. Wow, you keep making fun of me for saying that the man he will only win 34 games this year. Yep, go me.
Yeah. They already passed. By the way, for the record, they already passed the number, I believe, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think they passed the number already. Let me make sure. You said 30. Wasn't the prediction 34-48 or was it 38-44?
No, it's 34 wins. I said 34 wins.
It's worse than I thought. I thought it was 30. I thought it was 38 for a second. I was giving you credit for 38. Jeez.
Yeah, I thought it was 39. Like, it's 34. Look.
Now, they've been slipping a little bit the last couple of weeks, though. I will say they've been kind of a little cruise control. Yeah, you're done. They won 35 games.
Yeah, I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this.
It's awesome, isn't it? Anyway, Ray, we'll talk soon. Good luck with your predictions on all those, same as mine, so it's not just us, it's me and you both. So, enjoy TakeOver, enjoy the All-Star game, we'll talk soon.
Thank you for all your numbers.
You got it, buddy. Take care.